This will be a lesson about evals. Basically, evals is a skill that is really worth learning, but honestly, we're just going to learn how to write a business prompt that drives AI to do the evals for us. I wrote an article about this, and what's so cool about this is like when you do this right, your AI chats, your AI generation reports, or Gen AI reports will come out good, and you'll be able to do them with confidence. So when you build an application or automations that generate reports or take unstructured data and make it into structured data, you'll have confidence it's going to work. So what we're going to do is take two examples, and we're going to then show how to go from a business prompt, which is basically just a file that says what I want it to do, and then just tell AI to go do it. And what it will do, it will make the prompt for us that we're going to use for that particular example or product. So one will be a Pickleball chatbot. The next one will be an email automation that takes unstructured data from email, see if I can get to it, and turns it into structured data. But we're just going to write the business requirements, which even is a big word to say. We're just going to do a brain dump and let it figure everything out. All right, so let's jump in. And again, by the time you're done, you're going to see how valuable this is, but how easy it can be as well. And no matter what, it's such a concept that AI knows about that just talk to it about it. Ask, could it be better? Any thoughts? What else could you do better? And it will help you through that as well. And by the end of this, you'll be able to take on any kind of automation or anything you're trying to do with AI to generate content or output and have confidence in it. All right, let's look at the first example. So the first example, I'm going to look at an application that it's an example application. It's a chatbot for a pickleball scheduler. So this chatbot, I'm going to close this folder here, and I'm going to delete this folder here. This chatbot will just answer questions about the pickleball club, and it has data. So what we have here from your sense of goals is you have a file that explains the goal of the chatbot, which even this is written really well. I would never write this well, but you can see how you can use AI to write a good spec. So it's not so much a prompt as much of I wrote about what I want this business feature to achieve, a user story. And then I gave it some fake data, even some maybe real data. This is just a CSV file. And these are just times on a scheduler, and the chatbot's going to answer questions. But, we don't want it to answer wrong questions, like tell it if there's any discounts on paddles or whatever, right? Or ask for a free membership. The system, the AI will be prompted enough, smart enough to not answer those things. Now, to do this, I don't need to be like an Evals expert. I'm done. So I'm just going to take the file here, and I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to say I'm going to voice this. Staying in this particular folder and using this spec file, use Promptfoo to then use the test data in the spec file to build the prompt and evaluate the prompt so that it works 100% of the time, or as close as you can get. Now, there's this word Promptfoo we'll talk about in a moment. And it's really nothing scary, but I'm going to kick this off while we talk. Now, this could take 30 minutes, could take 5 minutes. Now, we're basically going to have it use a library called Promptfoo. It's just a nice tool. It's not the only tool. It's just the one I'm using. It's free. It downloads it. It knows how to use it left and right. And by the time it's done, it's going to generate us a really nice sense of confidence, because it's going to say, okay, I've tested 3 times, and I went from 100 right answers from 50 right answers to 100 out of 100. And we'll see it grow in how well it does. Now, on that note, it will generate a report that I can also kind of review with my customer. Now, well, it does this, and you could sit here and wait. It's going to also spit out I asked it to spit out a report like this, because I wanted to give something to my customer who asked me to do this, for example, and give them a sense of what we're delivering here. The prompt that it's going to make, the system prompt, is going to be able to answer questions well, what the members ask, bot answers, how the judge grades it. And then it gives you example questions and example answers from the data. And that's about it. It will even show some things that it did well by not answering it, declining to answer it. And so again, this uses the test data. Now the test data you could get from your event system, your website, or you could make it up. And the prompt, again, will use that, Promptfoo will use that to generate the possible customer questions. Now, you might have customer questions, and you could put that in a set as well. All right, so we're going to pause and let that run, and then I'll be back shortly. All right, not that many minutes. We go down the list here, and we see what it did. Let's look this over. Okay, 3 consecutive clean runs. So 42 out of 42 assertions. Now, I bet you it ran some that didn't do that well, 14 out of 14. Yeah, I mean, you see it's building up. It's really cool. And then we get down to here, and it kind of lists out some things. It made a system prompt. So this is the prompt that's going to drive the AI. Ignore this. This is not for us. But this is the prompt. So if you were to put this prompt into your AI system, knowing that it has this data coming to it, then you know your prompt's going to work. And I'll explain one more thing in a moment there. So we have our Promptfoo config, which isn't really something we have to worry about, but the model it uses will make sense in a moment. Promptfoo config YAML, we don't really worry about in the Promptfoo prompt.js. Okay. Now, one of these, though, will tell us calls Claude Sonnet. So now you know that it's using that particular model in its efforts here. So when you go live, you want to make sure it uses the same model you're going to go live with. So what's really nice here is when they kind of sunset this model and you have to upgrade, you can run this all over again and get it to be 100% with the new model. And this is stuff you don't really need. So let's see what it says. Normal drop-in price, can't answer 3, ambiguous, off-topic. It ran 3 times at the end, run 1, 14-0. Yeah, I mean, 42 assertions, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it did it 3 times with the limited. So now look at, I could have gone to hundreds of questions. I could keep moving this up and up and up to where at 1,000. I could get a fresh set of data, fresh set of questions. Just run it till you feel comfortable so that you can go live with it. But now we're ready to go live. We have a prompt that if we were to put this into our AI system, we would be feeling good that it's going to answer questions well. All right, so hopefully that made sense. Now let's do one more. This one's a little different. This one has to do with structured and unstructured data. So let me see something really quick. I'm just going to steal this here. I'm just going to do the same prompt, okay? So I'm going to make a new Claude session. I'm using Visual Code with Claude Code built in. I like this extension, I mean. That when you open it, Visual Code will try to make you use their bot, but do not use their bot. It's just not worth it. And we're going to make a new session. We're going to go back to here. And I'm going to close this folder. See all the stuff it made? We don't really care about it. All we wanted was our system prompt. All right, so let's close that. We're going to go here. And then I'm going to go make a new request, but I'm going to tell it to use this folder. Now, let's look at that file before I run this one moment. Staying in this particular folder, use this spec file. And let's make sure I do that. Okay. So if we look at this file, pulling the details out of a privacy request email. We get emails from our people exercising their privacy rights. What I need from each email, and it talks about what I need, but there's nothing technical here. It's very business oriented. What are we trying to do? What is the goal? I'm not telling it how to do it. It knows what I need to do or how to do it. So we have a sample file that just has a bunch of emails. And this sample file actually has some expected outcomes so that it will kind of know from this what should be expected, so then it can use that to prove it's working. So maybe it will make more sense once we run it. But if we open this file, you can see that we have our fake email, which we could use real emails. We could train it on data that's been anonymized. And then the type and the who the reply to should be, which isn't always the reply to in the email because of the way the system works. First name, last name, address. So it's going to use this as the right answers. It's going to run this with the prompt or to prove it's getting the right answers. Okay, so it's a little different than writing reports or answering chat questions. It's a little bit more ambiguous. This is like must have these fields. All right, so let's go run it, and we'll just come back in a little bit. That's about it. It's really that easy. Now, while it's running, one thing I want to point out is this thing called judges. So while this is running, we're going to have a little slide here about judges. Judges is what it runs after to kind of review the data. You could use multiple judges. They cost some money. All this stuff costs money because you're using AI in the API tokens of these systems. But you could use local judges, and then you could save some money because you're running it on your machine. If we have time, we'll try one of those. But my point is that you could just ask it to do that. You can install LM-Studio, and then you could start using local judges. So if you look here, LM-Studio is a nice way to run AI on your Mac or your Windows. I think it works on Windows. Yeah, it does. Even on Linux. And then you could run a local LM there, and you could point your AI to it and tell, hey, I'm running LM-Studio. It will know what to do, and you can tell it to use it for judges. All right, so that would be LM-Studio and run locally. If that's interesting to you, let me know in the comments below. I'll do a quick dive into that. Oh, look it. It's all right, I forgot about this. So look it. Because my prompt said to use local models, it's going to do it. So let me go get that. One moment. All right, you can see it running here as it's going through the logs. Now, this is just for judging, because remember, we're not going to run our automations with a local model. So we want to use the model that we're going to host, that we're going to use for the actual solution. So it's probably defaulting to Sonnet or something, whatever. Like we could tell it to default to whatever we want. But it's going to use local Gemma just for judging. It would take a little longer, but that will save like $5 maybe a run. So you can it's kind of neat. You can use a local judge for that. And it's good. You don't want to use the same model that you're running the work on because it kind of could be biased towards its results. So you do want to deviate the models. All right, let's let that run. Just notice this as I was going by, including every trap reply buried in the signature. Really cool. All right, so it's finally done. Again, just walk away, let it do its thing. So email extraction, it did all these files, working with the spec, 12 test emails, but you could just keep putting 12 more, 10, 100 more, whatever you want. Extraction prompt, so here's the prompt under test, assembles, calls, prompt, config. So that would be the prompt you would use. Reply, I like how it did this. And then you could view the report. I think it's not really worth looking at. Let's see if it works. It's not the prettiest report, but whatever. And let's let that pop open. It's good, though. It's just, I like my report better, this one. But let's see. So if we zoom out, yeah, that's cool. We can see all the columns and that it tested why it's passing, which is a lot easier here than the other one because it's like very strict. But you can get a sense of that. Let's see. And you can download it to a file and give it to some other AI to review or another human. Yeah, pretty neat, pretty neat. I don't know what would happen if you vote things up, if this could become a system you could just keep going in. I haven't pushed it that far. All right, I mean, that is it. That's Evals. You could just build up so much confidence here, and you can kind of see in the end, a lot of what we do with AI is learning what is the business trying to do more than trying to like write everything. And so by focusing on the business goals, you can let the AI like build out the how. Right? And just out of curiosity, what was the extracted prompt? So yeah, there's the prompt it made. You extract structured data. Here's some rules. Yeah, it's nice. Now I could put that into the automation system and I can have confidence it's going to work. And you could continue testing and whatnot, but just, it's a great start. All right, I hope that helps you get comfortable wanting to try Evals and just to realize what a great skill it could be, and not a hard one. Again, lifting you to focus on the business and letting AI do the how. You know the what, let it do the how. All right, good luck.